watching Let's Chat.
We have a very special treat for you live in the studio today, especially if you love live music. Yes, I have with me an award-winning artist, Brandon Maddox. He's going to play for us today, and we're going to learn all about your journey, what you've been awarded, the honors you've bestowed upon you. Thank you so much for coming in, Brandon.
Thank you so much for having me.
So how did this all start? Tell us a little history, and then maybe what you've accomplished.
Well, I've always loved music. I would stop and I would just listen to whatever was on at a restaurant, and my parents would wonder, why is my son getting so quiet?
Oh.
Then I started teaching myself to play about 11 years old, and got my grandpa's guitar out of his woodshed as a cracked Yamaha Classical, restrung it, started teaching myself out of old Beatles books my dad had, and from there on started writing songs because all the names were Lennon and McCartney on those songs. So it inspired me to start writing songs about that age.
So you taught yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And when would you say those around you started saying, this isn't just a kid playing around, he's got a talent?
Probably a year into it, maybe, year and a half into it.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're a songwriter.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about that. And I guess songwriters can sometimes be the unsung heroes of a musician because the performer gets a lot of the acknowledgement. Tell me about what you've written with that.
Yeah, so I wanted to be a songwriter up until I had to be an artist, if you will. Because when I moved to Nashville, that's what I moved there for, was to be a songwriter. But I live here now, but I lived in Nashville for 12 years. And part of the thing was I could be behind the scenes, writing songs, getting paid back my mailbox for other people recording the songs that I wrote, and I wouldn't have to deal with the paparazzi. You know, I wouldn't have to be out on the road playing all these shows, busting it all over America, you know. So I started off with that, then I realized how cliquey Nashville is. So I started working on being my own artist and touring around the country to get those songs heard.
So speaking of the side that like our viewers might not know about, the darker side, who have you liked working with? Are there people we've heard of that you've enjoyed?
Well, I don't know if you've heard of him, but there's a guy named Chris Gantry. He was on the 1975 CMA Awards, and he came out there introduced by Johnny Cash. And he was a behind-the-scenes writer for a bunch of the 70s guys. And then there was a lady named Pam Belford who wrote If I Know Me for George Strait, wrote with her.
Love it. I love that.
Some of my favorite guys, though, have no notable accolades, really. Adam James in Nashville, Dan Rivers out of Louisiana. I've written more with him than anyone. And just when you gel with somebody and you write great songs with them, that's what really matters, not who's had what success.
So do you write the words or the melody?
Both. So the words are a little bit tougher for me, or traditionally have been, but the melodies come a little bit easier. I come up with the melodies probably 85% of the time, and then the words, if I'm working with someone who doesn't do melodies very well, then I pony up and do the words.
Well, your sweet, lovely wife is in the studio with us. Yeah. So how do you come up with like a heartbreaking song when you're in a happy relationship? I've always wondered how that worked.
Yeah, you have to dig into your past when your heart was broken.
Sure.
And you know, I had plenty of that before I met my lovely wife.
Yes.
And but yeah, I write a lot more love songs than I used to.
I would think you'd have to be inspired. You know, if you're in a really good mood, how do you even perform something, you know, kind of sad? So tell us about your most recent album, and then I'd love to hear how we can watch you.
Yeah, so the most recent album is called, the title track of the next song I'll play, called Last Farm in the USA.
Oh.
I tried to pair some songs that worked well with that I'd written, like Cruising to a Small Town. It got over 100 million views.
Yes. Wow.
On Cruising to a Small Town. We had a guy I met 2 days before the video shoot for Cruising to a Small Town who was a Barney Fife impersonator, and he ended up winning a big award himself through the music video. But I said, you want to be in a music video in 2 days? He says, okay, sure. So I was able to wrangle him in. It turned out beautifully. Last Farm also is approaching 100 million views on its viewership.
So is this inspired maybe by current, you know, we hear about the status of farms sort of dwindling in the U.S. So that's sort of inspiring your writing
very
currently.
much.
That's awesome.
That is huge behind it, because we have all these foreign entities buying up our lands.
That's right. Yeah. Oh, I will have to check you out. How can we find you online?
BrandonMaddoxMusic.com.
BrandonMaddoxMusic.com. Tell us real quick about your next performances in Chattanooga.
Yes, so the next performance is tonight. So we're playing 6 to 9 p.m. playing a place called Portofino's in East Ridge.
Love it.
And then, let's see, we have another one, Common House, February 1st.
Beautiful venue.
And that is, yeah, it's beautiful. We're going to be on the second floor of Common House. Tell me the... 7 to 9 on February
Love
1st,
it.
Thursday.
Awesome.
And then we got
February
some other
9th,
things.
Puckett's. February 23rd, B&B Maria, Charleston,
Thank you.
Tennessee.
Yes.
Sure, yeah. But everyone can catch that on BrandonMaddoxMusic.com.
That's right.
Okay, well, my favorite part of any segment we could have, we get a little treat. Can you play for us? Tell us what you're going to play.
Yeah, I'll play Last Farm in the USA, new music video, and this is one of those songs that just has a message with it. It's one of those songs that I had to put out there because of the times we live in.
Thank you, Brandon.
Yeah. Blue sky riding out at first light, high on his tractor, even higher in my eyes. He plowed those fields all day, then at supper he'd pray, thank the good Lord for this life. Daddy never said a word for me to understand. No money's worth the price of giving up your land. He taught this wide-eyed child with a freckle-faced smile how to be a man. That was 20 years ago. Now I've got a family of my own. On this 200-acre labor of love, generations have fought to carry on. So I go till I can't go no more. Hold on so that endures through the years, till the blood, sweat, and tears stirs the pride up deep in my bones. And if someday the shadow of a high-rise falls on my grave, go on and damn it all, carve it on my headstone that I thought I'd known. The last farm in the USA. Neighbor sold out to a big boy firm and tore down his house and barn. We cried and watched them burn. His grandpa built their home with every cent he slaved each day to earn. I took my ball cap off and slammed it down and said, enough's enough. I'll fight, I'll give my dying breath before I choose to give this up.